what I wish someone had sat down and explained to me when I was an anxious, overwhelmed, pregnant, first-time mom. There is so much information out there, so many videos and blogs and Instagrams and so many things that you can read and learn and just go down a rabbit hole endlessly trying to prepare to become a mom. It's overwhelming because you're like, oh my gosh, I only have so many more weeks left. I hope my baby doesn't come before I'm ready. Because that's how I felt. People would ask me like during my third trimester, like, oh my gosh, how are you feeling? Are you ready? And I'm just like, I guess I won't like ever be fully ready, you know, because there's always more that you could be doing. And I remember thinking to myself, like, you can take your time in there because I'm not ready out here yet. It just gives me more time to get stuff done, I guess, you know. But so first of all, if you're feeling that way, it's so valid because I still talk to so many mom friends, especially because I grew up in the Silicon Valley, you know, San Francisco Bay Area, where everyone's an overachiever, type A person, and you're just like, I gotta get everything together. That's just the mindset that you're raised in. And so I talk to so many moms who have this exact problem. The problem that they have is like, I just feel like there's so much to do and so many, I don't even know where to start. How do I prioritize all this? And they're like panicking. They're freaking out. I understand it because I was in the same boat for a bit during my pregnancy, and there are definitely ebbs and flows of it for sure. Looking back, I realized how that was not a good mode to be in, and I didn't have to be in that mode. And definitely for future pregnancies and stuff, I'm going to have a totally different mindset and perspective on this, because the reason why so many people feel like we need to like do all the things to be prepared, it almost goes back to like when you're in school, right? And you have like an exam coming up or a final or a paper, like some kind of a deadline. You think that, oh, I just need to like get this paper done, and like that means I need to do the research, I need to break up in the steps, I need to do all this stuff. As long as I get everything done, I'll get the A, you know? It's like that mentality of like, it doesn't matter when I do it, I just have to get it done and then I'll get the A. College, high school, I pulled all-nighters, I cramped, I procrastinated. And guess what? A lot of the times I would get an A because I was like very focused. My ADHD brain works best under pressure. So I was like, okay, I'll just like get everything done. But it caused so much stress and panic and anxiety. But that didn't really affect the end result, which is the A. So that's what we've trained ourselves to do, is like, let me just like download all the information to feel equipped. But first of all, there's never enough information, and there's also a lot of conflicting information. You never know when's enough. There's never an end, like an end point in sight. You just keep going and going and learning and reading and researching yourself to death pretty much. And so it never solves for your perpetual anxiety of like, I need to know more. But then second of all, you're assuming that by doing all the things that will set you up to be like a peaceful, you know, present mom, you know, to enjoy the fruit, to get the A. But the problem is no, because when you have this mentality of like, I need to know everything and I need to do all this and I need to prepare all this, in reality, that carries over into when your baby is here. You will feel that way, but even more so of like, wait, I need to get everything like sorted out. Like, why is this happening? Why is that? And then you're just carrying this kind of anxiety and overwhelm. I was like, I'm not usually an anxious person. Why am I such an anxious mom, you know, during the newborn and postpartum trenches? And, you know, that's not even taking into account the sleep deprivation that really affects your mental functioning, hormones, you know, that are all over the place oftentimes. And so you're just like emotionally in and out. And so there's so many things that just contribute to this feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is too much. If you're trying to solve for your anxiety by doing all the things, by preparing, first of all, that's not possible. So it's not going to happen. But second of all, you also are setting yourself up to continue those habits later on into motherhood. So it's not helpful. That's the bottom line. It's not worth it. It's not the way. It's not the solution. So what is the solution? The solution, you know, really truly is, I would say it's a twofold, two-part thing. I'll address the mindset and I'll address the practical as well. So the mindset is, first of all, accepting this reality that like truly you will not be able to be fully prepared no matter what. That, like, it's true. What the moms are telling you, what all the other parents are telling you, just believe them, okay? Save yourself the stress of thinking to yourself, I'm an exception. I'm really great at being on top of things. No, even the most prepared person, aka myself, you will be humbled, okay? The more you try to beat the system, the more humbled you will become, okay? Start letting this journey that as you're pregnant and you're feeling this anxiety, start allowing that to be the opportunity to exercise surrender, to exercise, instead of responding to my anxiety with more control, with more productivity, with more overwhelm, let me actually train myself and teach my mindset to respond to this with trust and with openness and with, oh, let me actually learn to let go of all the things that I think that I need to do. It's going to be so hard. It's going to be so uncomfortable because it's like swimming, right? You want to hold on to the ledge of the pool. It feels scary if you don't know how to swim to let go and be like, what if I drown? That's the thing though. You're not going to learn how to swim unless you start letting go bit by bit. You don't have to do it all at once, but being pregnant as a first-time mom is the perfect time to start practicing this skill before you get dropped into the deep side of the ocean without ever learning how to swim. So start in the kiddie pool. You are in the kiddie pool right now, and give yourself those opportunities to, in your mindset, learn, okay, let me just recognize that I'm feeling anxious. That's the first step, is not ignoring it, not trying to be toxically positive about it. Just acknowledge, I'm feeling anxious. Why? And start getting curious about the stories you're telling yourself, the beliefs you're telling yourself. Once you're doing that, start talking to yourself like you would a friend. If a friend came to you and they were really anxious, what would you tell them? Start practicing, rehearsing these talk tracks to yourself. Like, it's okay that you feel that way. It's so natural to feel that way. At the same time, this is unrealistic pressure that you're putting on yourself. What would be productive for you? So that moves to the second part. Okay, the second part is the practical part, which is what I would do personally is dump out everything on your mind, what you feel like you need to do, what you're behind on, what you want to do. Dump it all out onto a page or onto a document, and then actually sit down with, I would say, someone that you really trust, but also someone who's already a parent. Because I did this exercise with my husband, who is really good at prioritizing, project managing, and I owe him so much of my sanity because I was losing it when I was pregnant. I was so anxious and overwhelmed. Everything was in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much. I feel overwhelmed every day. And then my husband helped me, kind of see like, this is more important than that, and like actually find priorities. But the mistake in that is my husband was never a parent either. Like, it's also his first time. He doesn't really know what's actually important. So what I would do differently if I could go back is I try to get like 2, maybe 3 perspectives, because every person's different. Every person's experience is different, and you could actually learn through their experiences and kind of gather, it seems like this really is important versus this person just feels like this is important because of their unique experience. I think that would be my big advice, is instead of trying to like DIY, like, oh, I got to get like all these 100 things done, or 30 things done, and I have no time to do all of them. Consult multiple people who have already gone through the journey that you are about to embark on. It's like you're a captain of a ship. You never captained a ship. It's not even, I don't know what the word is called, but this is your first time. You need to consult other people who have embarked in the stormy seas so that you can ask them, out of all of these things to do, what are the actual biggest things, so I can focus on them, and then at the same time practice releasing control. Because in reality, again, you're not going to get to all those 30 or all those 100 things, realistically speaking. What was important for another mom is going to be different for you, but getting perspective from other parents is so, so important. And you can watch my other videos if you want to hear what I would have prioritized. I've already shared that a lot on my own channel, but I just think there's so much power in connecting with other parents in your life, because first of all, you need that support. You need other parents connected to you, so that when you embark on your stormy journey, you're going to have people to lean on and to support you and to help guide you through the storm, and to come alongside you for practical, emotional, mental help. Yeah, we're just not meant to do this alone. So you need to lean on people and start already having those conversations. And instead of being isolated in our world that teaches us, oh, like, just learn everything on your own. Like, it's like online school, right? Like, you think becoming a parent is like a major that you're studying for, or like something that you're like studying in an isolated bubble. That's wasting time. That's wasting energy and time. The most efficient way is interdependent learning. Through other people who have already been parents, who are already parents. Especially, I think it's most helpful if you talk to people who have young kids, preferably babies, because they actually remember vividly like what it was like. If you ask people beyond that stage, it's actually quite hard, because they don't really remember. It was so long ago and so much has happened. So let me know, please, in the comments if this resonates or if you have more questions about this. I'll try my best to answer. I know there are so many moms who are feeling the same way, and it's hard. It really is hard when this world sells us this message of like, just get everything ready and done and research, and you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's like, no, like stop and sit, because you're a human being, you have limitations, and you can only do so much out of your limited resources, your time and energy, your sanity, instead of trying to cram your way into acing the test, which is not the way to do it, because you also need to be resting your body and learning to relax and learning to, if you're stressed, your baby can also feel it. So you need to be taking care of yourself. But how do you do that? While getting enough sleep, enough rest, enough sanity. You really need to work on the mindset part and learn to prioritize and let go of the rest. That's all I'm going to say for now. So like and subscribe, get this out to more people, and I will see you guys in the next one.